This is Tracy Rose. She is an artist with a multimodal approach. She includes photography and videography into her everyday artwork. Rose also uses performance technique, which is often described as a form of insertion. This is where the artist uses her body and inserts it into the work of art, and embracing different layers of meaning in the world. Rose was born in Durban, South Africa in 1974. She graduated from Wits University with her bachelor's in art. Tracy Rose also went back to school in 2006 to get her Master's of Fine Arts at Goldsmiths College at the University of London, UK. Today, she lives and works in Johannesburg, South Africa, with her artwork still being represented throughout the world. Tracy Rose portrays the various cultural stereotypes imposed on African women through her artwork. She also explores the complications of femininity and sexuality as a basis to challenge and inform her audience. Rose's artwork can sometimes be seen as absurd and chaotic, but it is always relevant to what is going on in the world. People say my art is shocking, she says, but what's happening in the global context is much more shocking than art. Even though some people may see her political directness as offensive, however, her artwork contributes to the growth of contemporary art throughout history. African art is still evolving to this day. This leads us to one of the first most common misconceptions. Most audiences that observe African art believe that it is homogeneous. This means that they see it to all be the same regarding style, meaning, and the materials used. Not all African art is synonymous. It comes in various forms and is more than just paintings and sculptures. Tracy Rose proves this misconception wrong through her various forms of fearless artwork that vary in meaning and technique. This first misconception leads us to the first piece of artwork from Tracy Rose. Untitled is one of Rose's first creations. This is what led her to be famous. This title translates to Untitled, which is a video where Tracy Rose films herself shaving off all of her body hair. Rose states that this completion was about both demasculinating and defeminizing my body, shaving off the masculine and feminine hair. This kind of desexualization carries with it a certain kind of violence. This piece is about making myself unattractive and unappealing. Rose created this as a widespread response to the frequency of rape that took over much of Africa. She was attempting to bring awareness to a very important issue that occurs more often than people think. This creation varies from the artwork of various other artists, debunking the first misconception, since not many pieces of African art originally include videography. Untitled was produced from the Zulu culture and originates from Durban, South Africa, where it was created in 1998. This piece is a video made using surveillance cameras, where Rose took to make it look like she was filming it herself. Another myth about African art is that it is all primitive. Audiences believe that African art is seen to be as basic, boring, and simple looking. However, in reality, African art is progressive. It comes in many forms and shows the artist's true creativity. Tracy Rose is known for prominent artwork that greatly stands out among her viewers. Rose debunks this myth that African art is primitive. People see her art as rebelling against traditional art. This brings us to our next piece. The photo displayed below is called The Kiss. This piece is a picture of Rose with a seated black man, both naked, posed like a sculpture. Rose is lying across the man, with her arms around him and her legs dangling off. She looks very pleased and content in the photo. Tracy Rose is unashamed to make her body the center of attention in order to make a statement among her audience. The Kiss addresses the notion of race and opposing skin colors, that it is okay to be with someone of another race. The work offers the appeal of perceived beauty and an observation that is predominantly about love. The Kiss was produced from the Zulu culture and originates from Durban, South Africa, where it was taken in 2001. It is currently located in the Johannesburg Art Gallery in South Africa. This is a black and white photograph with a neutral white background. This is known as monochrome and was a common theme in Rose's artwork. Rose debunks the second myth about African art because she uses her body to portray things that other artists were afraid to do. Rose wanted to make a statement for herself. She wanted people to pass by her art on the street and know that it was something more than just a photograph. She wanted it to be chaotic and fun to look at. She wanted there to be a story behind the art, not just a photograph. The next image, just as chaotic as the other ones before, is called Mac 2. Tracy Rose created this image showing 3 angels in a glowing sky looking down on a town in southern Africa. If you look closely, you can see Rose, wearing a mache mask, standing in the middle of 2 other women. They are all holding a cake behind a crossing of 2 sharp metal barriers. The photograph confronts issues of sexual, racial, and political oppression. Standing with the chocolate cake in hand references social inequality and injustice in South Africa. Peasants and slaves were being starved. Rose wanted to bring awareness to this issue without actually saying so. This is a common theme of hers throughout her artwork. This image was produced from the Zulu culture as well, where it was created in 2001. This photo originates from Durban, South Africa, where Rose was residing at the time. The materials that make up this artwork include acrylic paint. Overall, Tracy Rose was focusing on leaving a legacy through her African artwork. She states, "You don't make artwork for the present. You make it for the future. You are working for a history that is beyond centuries of you, for multiple generations ahead of you." Rose's goal was to debunk different stereotypes. She stated her reason for her illustrative reinversion of Christianity to subvert racism, homophobia, and exclusion. All in all, her performity functions as a complex language where she uses her body as a powerful tool. The body is seen as knowledge, a medium, and an archive. My first discussion question for you is, what myths did artist Tracy Rose debunk? My second discussion question is, what made Tracy Rose's artwork stand out amongst other African artists that we have talked about in class?